Strawman.
All I hear at the moment are accusations being thrown around that sound like this.
No, that's not what I said. You have just committed the scarecrow fallacy. I mean, strawman fallacy. I'm gonna kill you.
And it made me wonder, what the hell is the strawman fallacy? Now, it's actually really simple, and it isn't going to take too long to explain. A straw man, to put it simply, is when someone changes what another person said to make it easier to attack or argue against. Basically, it's loser type shit. Let's go through an example. Person A, let's call them Joel for the sake of today's video, is debating gun policy in America against Jack. Joel says,
I would like to advocate for stricter gun laws, as I feel this would make the environment safer for everyone.
Jack responds with,
You see, everyone? Joel just wants to take away your guns. This is in direct violation of the American Constitution, and I don't know about you, but I sure as hell hope no one jeopardizes the words of our founding fathers.
Jack is what I would characterize as a fucking idiot. And this is an example of a reactionary straw man. Jack directly responded to what Joel said, or so it seemed, while simultaneously arguing against a point that Joel didn't actually make, hence why it's loser behavior. Now, an example of a pre-planned straw man in a similar situation would be as follows. Jack says,
Now, moving on to gun control. As some of you may know, my opponent here is a fan of taking away all of your guns, as he thinks it will make things safer. I think that instead of making things safer, it would instead threaten the very fabric of democracy that has led us to be as great a nation as we are.
a pre-planned straw man can be much more dangerous at times due to the fact it plants the first seed about an opponent in the audience's mind. It acts as an appeal to the emotions of those listening, manipulating the viewer into believing two things. 1. That the ideas proposed by their opponent are illogical and at times dangerous. And 2. That any ideas proposed by their opponent can be easily debunked, as the straw man itself was torn down with such ease. I think once you understand the intent behind a fallacy of this nature, you develop this unbelievably strong wish to grab that fallacy's perpetrator, lead them down a dark alley, and so, how do you combat a straw man if you see one being used against you? Well, you do exactly what you would do if one started running towards you in real life. You'd burn that motherfucker down. Now, the way that you burn down the straw man is also pretty simple. You wait for your opponent, the offender, to finish speaking. Then calmly, just take the audience back through what you said one more time. But this time, reference the difference in the characterization of your opinions versus how your opponent falsely presented them. Let's revisit our first example.
Why?
Joel says,
I would like to advocate for stricter gun laws, as I feel this would make the environment safer for everyone.
Jack responds with,
You see, everyone? Joel just wants to take away your guns. This is in direct violation of the American Constitution, and I don't know about you, but I sure as hell hope no one jeopardizes the words of our founding fathers.
This is where we begin the response. Joel says, I too believe that taking away people's guns would be in direct violation of the US Constitution. And as a proud American citizen myself, I would never suggest anything as foolish as that. Instead, I would like to bring everyone's attention to the specific words I used. I mentioned gun laws and how it may be beneficial to certain groups of people to tweak the standard rules that we have regarding guns in an effort to save more lives and make the streets... Through a method like this, you can actually turn a bad faith tactic from your opponent into a source of fuel for the coming dialogue. This is because the perpetrator of the straw man is actually putting themselves in a level of danger too, risking being exposed as nothing more than a mouthpiece for misinformation. The successful torching of the straw man may, at times, lead to your opponent catching fire and burning down with their fallacy. Wait, what? Finally, I thought it was important to include a brief description of the straw man's better looking and smarter brother, the steel man. Like the straw man, the steel man is when you outline someone's argument, but in a way that is stronger and more comprehensive than they presented it to be. This is a W tactic. This is a good thing to do.
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
This being exactly why it's so rare. But why is this a thing that anyone does? Well, a tactic like steel manning is actually reasonably effective in a scenario where you know that you 100% have a comprehensive breakdown of your opponent's point, and that representing their point in a clearer and more understandable way to the audience will only make its tearing down more satisfying. It's also a helpful tactic in the context of clarifying what your opponent means by their point, thus protecting you from building an argument against something that they actually didn't mean. Because what do we call that? I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. A straw man. Ah, I love this shit. As always, my name is Billy Liar, and this is The Sixth Floor. Thank you all for stopping by.